Hello and welcome. My name is Jamie Lynn Thomas and I'm a certified flower essence practitioner, and I'm here today to talk to you about the 7 categories of Bach's 38 remedies. We're going to break the categories down by individual webinars. So the first one is going to be fear, that we will be talking about first in this webinar. I have shared to the left a download link for the 38 Bach Flower Essences and the basic class notes. I invite you to print these out and use them as we go through the webinar so that you can add notes so that you can start to learn and memorize the positive, negative qualities of each individual essence. So let's talk about the 7 different headings that categorize all 38 Bach flower essences. Now these headings were based upon Bach's observation of the human response to these different types of circumstances. So we have for fear, for uncertainty, for insufficient interest in the present circumstances or the environment, for loneliness, for those who are oversensitive to influences and ideas, and for those who have despondency or despair, or over concern for the welfare of others. Now, each one of these categories has a positive trait that balances out what we see here as the negative expression of the essence out of balance. So when we talk about it coming in future webinars and here shortly, we're going to discuss each one of these individually. So for the fear category itself, it contains these 5 essences, which is rock rose, mimulus, cherry plum, aspen, and red chestnut flowers. Now the positive aspect of the negative aspect of fear is knowledge. Through fear, we gain knowledge. And as a clinical note, most of the remedies in this category tend to show up in all processes of emotion. So those 5 processes of emotion with denial, anxiety, depression, anger, and resolution, we see fear present at each one of these stages. So it's just nice to note that as you're working through these stages with yourself or others, that you may notice that you're using fear remedies throughout all these processes. So aspen, let's talk about aspen, the flower essence. Aspen is a mood quality. And what I was told when I first went through herb school was that to think of aspen in the mountains, noticing its leaves that go quicky and flowy all over the place. And then the different stages of the plant, whether it's the bud, the fuzzy leafy flower, or the full pollinating flower until it loses its flower and starts to turn more into a fruit-like substance. Now the positive qualities of aspen are fearlessness, faith in the face of experience, and adventure. It helps to increase inner strength and confidence. And it really helps to establish a sense of security and deep resonating boundaries that are serving the person. And some of the most negative qualities that are easy to see in others are the sense of a vague fear of the unknown. It's not the fear of something that you know, but the fear that it's something hiding in the shadows, or, well, I'm not sure why I'm fearful, but there's something there to it. And there's really no cause for this fear. It's kind of just this vague notion. And what we notice about this person with the negative quality is that they tend to suffer silently because they feel that others will think that they're crazy because there is no justification for their fear. So this is a remedy that is sometimes hard to see in others. And in further webinars, we'll start to talk about the type of person and develop the picture quality a little bit more deeply. But I invite you to use these first slides that we have in these next 7 webinars to build your individual note cards so that you can start to memorize these essences. You can also print off the PDF to this webinar here and use that as your resource. I'll end up sharing this one on your Google Drive, so feel free to look for those in further areas. Now let's talk about minimalist. It is also a type and a mood. So what we mean by type and mood is that mood, it can come and go, so it's a acute remedy used in the situational instances. Type mood means that it is something that the person most likely has ingrained into their personality. Something from birth, from childhood, from other instances, that this has now become a type of reaction to fear. So the positive qualities in minimalist is that it's the courage to face all worrying situations without fear. Courage in the face of all fear. And the negative quality is that it's really a known fear. So unlike Aspen, we know what we're afraid of here. And the out of balance comes from the fact that we really know what we're fearful of. So we tend to hide our fears and suffer silently. And mostly this is worrying about worldly things that may or may not make a difference if you were not living. So we think of things like finances. This is when people are worrying about their finances. They know why they're worrying, and to think about it stimulates the anxiety, stimulates the fear, and you just go round and round in circles, creating a whirlwind of out of balance. Cherry plum. We've seen these. These are starting to flower or recently finished flowering, at least here in Colorado a few weeks ago. And this one's definitely a mood. It comes in and is something that we can work with. The positive quality is that it's very calm, quiet courage with control over extreme measures and mental pressures. And it tends to ground your spirit in the body itself. And the negative quality of cherry plum is that you have the fear of losing control. It's the sensation that you're kind of holding this lid over your anger, which is like a boiling pot that's starting to come outside of the lid that you're trying to hold the top on. And then at some point you're just going to explode outward like a bomb. And this is the cherry plum indication. And it's really... You'll see this where there's impulses to do things that you know are wrong, immoral, don't work with your code, and it's just these thoughts that come in. You may not go through with them, but you notice these thoughts continually coming in. And this is the cherry plum. This is when you would want to use cherry plum. And then we have red chestnut. It is a type and a mood, and then positive quality of red chestnut is that there's genuine concern for others, welfares, and what they're doing in their life, but without this irrationality that comes with an out of balance red chestnut. And the really beautiful quality, positive quality of red chestnut is that it calls back all the little threads and filaments of a person back to their body. And the negative or out of balance qualities of red chestnut is that there's this over concern for the welfare of others, really for the fear of the loved ones or for other friends and family. Fear of attracting the sphere towards someone else. So this can be energetically. So an example of this would be when you're looking, when somebody's talking to you and they're like, oh, well, I was thinking about so-and-so and their baby, and, she got sick, and all of a sudden I was worried because I was thinking, oh my goodness, that poor girl, she's just got this, she's probably got a fever going on, and you start thinking about how this person is doing, and then you start to feel guilty for this fear that you're having over this person because you're worried that you're energetically attracting or putting that thought pattern onto this person so that you might end up injuring them in some way. Also, this one I've seen quite clearly in clients where they're worrying so much about others that they end up experiencing what the other person was experiencing in their body. They experience it in their body. They energetically attracted that person's the worry and fear back towards them. Also in this quality, you'll really just see that overall they're very anxious for others, and they tend to not necessarily worry about themselves, but they are consistently worrying about others. So this is just a classic symbol of bringing the person that they need to come back into their body. And rock rose. It is also a mood. Its positive qualities are bravery, heroism, selflessness, and really the potential to grow beyond our natural capabilities, whether that's in our physical body, spiritual bodies, or emotional bodies. And we really walk in faith and trust and courage in the positive quality of rock rose. This is one of the essences that are present in the Bach Rescue Remedy. It's present along with impatience, clematis, and cherry plum, as well as Star of Bethlehem. And the negative qualities of rock rose is that there's extreme terror or panic. This is used for emergency situations, whether that's any type of a reaction to trauma, whether that's an emotional trauma, a physical trauma, a spiritual trauma, traumas in general, anything that gives the body a start, that makes the nervous system jump in surprise. This is very helpful with nightmare recovery, and you'll see it quite frequently when people are experiencing nightmares. This is great for children, especially when they're having that nightmare under the bed or worries about these vague fears. Combine the rock rose with aspen. They're a beautiful combination to help get kiddos to sleep easily at night. We like to use this as well in emergency cases where there appears that there's no hope. If the person is unconscious, you can give rock rose or rescue remedy to the person on their lips. So they don't even need to ingest it. You can just apply it to the body. And that is the last of the fear category. Our next category we'll be talking about will be uncertainty. So go ahead and start that in the next webinar link. And thanks so much for listening.